For today's Srimad Bhagavatam class, and we are continuing reading from Canto 3, chapter number 26, entitled Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. And today we're gonna read out from text 11, 12, 13, and 14. We're gonna cover up 4 verses, and they are linked together. Panchabhir Brahma Chaturbhir Dashabhistataha Etat Chaturbhimasatikam Ganam Pradhanikam Viduh Panchabhir Brahma Chaturbhir Dashabhistataha Chaturvimsatikam Ganam Pradhanikam Viduh Panchabhir Brahma Chaturbhir Dashabhistataha Eta Chaturvimsatikam Ganam Nikam Viduh. What's the word meaning? Panchabhihi, with the 5 gross elements. Panchabhihi, the 5 subtle elements. Brahma, Brahman. Chaturbhihi, the 4 internal senses. Dashabhihi, the 5 senses for gathering knowledge, and 5 organs of action. Tataha, in that way. Etat, this. Chatuvimisatikam, consisting of 24 elements. Ganam, aggregate. Pradhanikam, comprising the pradhanas. Viduhu, they know. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki translation. The aggregate elements, namely the 5 gross elements, the 5 subtle elements, the 4 internal senses, the 5 senses for gathering knowledge, and the 5 outward organs of action are known as the pradhanas. Purport. According to Bhagavad Gita, the sum total of the 24 elements described herein is called the Yonir Mahad Brahma. The sum total of the living entities is impregnated into this Yonir Mahad Brahma, and they are born in different forms, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant. In the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures, the sum total of the 24 elements pradhana is also described as Yonir Mahad Brahma. It is the source of the birth and subsistence of all living entities. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Anmilitam Yena Tasme Shri Guruve Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhrupale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Pradantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenbandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashati Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here Mother Devati, she is continuing with her inquiries to Lord Kapila Dev here. And if you read out in the previous chapter where she has submitted her inquiry, explaining herself being into a womanly body and calling herself as an unintelligent person here. But if you see the questions being asked by Mother Devahuti, it doesn't seem she's an unintelligent person. She seems such a highly qualified person, you know. And by setting her an example, she's showing to the whole world what is the right way or appropriate way to gain the knowledge. Especially in India, if somebody would like to do some bhakti to Lord Shri Krishna, he or she straightway jumps into rasa dance, his private affairs. Okay? But here, Mother Devahuti and other personalities, which they are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, such as Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthira, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and many other personalities, glorious personalities, they are not straightway asking the questions of Lord's private affairs. They are going step by step. That's why Srila Prabhupada says we need to read Srimad Bhagavatam in a very systematic way. We should not jump into Canto 3. And out of that Canto 3, there are Panch Rasya Adhyay, very confidential 5 chapters. And out of those, the Gopi Geets and the affairs with the Gopis are highly confidential. But here, Mother Devahuti, when she realized that, when she got the aerial, the CD in the air, and many thousands and thousands of maidservants and so many opulents, she accepted, yes, I was allured or I was driven away by the opulent or by the material energy of the Lord. I wasted my time in the enjoyment with my husband. My husband, he was a Mahayogi. In previous 2 chapters, Kardama Muni was referred as Mahayogi. He was not an ordinary person, he was a Mahayogi. And similarly, his wife Devahuti, she was addressed as Yoga Lakshana. She was perfect in the 8 mystic powers, and they were not ordinary people. But by setting an example, even having all those qualifications, a person is not very matured or very attentive. The purpose of human life, the human life passes like that. You know, just blink of your eyes, you see yourself, you were so young, and by the over a period of time, you just realize, I am 60, I'm 65. And she lamented for that. She's completely lamented for that. And she asked various questions. And one of those questions, what she asked, which relating to today's topic is, oh my dear Lord, kindly explain me what is the difference between by the Supreme Lord and the Prakriti, or the material nature, how they are interrelated to each other. Prior to that, she asked one question, my Lord, kindly explain me the difference between by the Supreme Lord and the Jiva, which Lord Kapila Dev has beautifully answered. And now her inquiry is furthermore, what is the difference between by Supreme Lord and the Prakriti? If you see the Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 topics to be discussed, which Srila Prabhupada mentions in the introduction. That has been spoken about. What are these? Ishvara, which is Supreme Lord. Jiva, the living entity. Kala, the time. Karma, the activity is there. And the 3 modes of material nature. And out of those, here Mother Devahuti, she's asking about what is the interaction or interrelation between Lord, the material nature, and the living entity. You know, and they are very highly philosophical subject matters. Especially in Canto 2, they have been elaborately described for it. And now Canto 3 is again here. Why she is asking? Because here Kapila Dev Muni is talking about the Sankhya philosophy. Every single matter, every single subject or elements, he's slowly, he's opening for the whole world. See how the Lord great is. Many people say the Lord is very great, Allah is great, you know, and other religions, they are great. They know they are great, but how great it is, that not much information is provided in those holy scriptures. You need to go further to read out, and all the elaborate description for every single matter, where they have come from, who is the source, and who are the predominating deity for that. Every single information is provided in Srimad Bhagavatam or Vaishnava scriptures here. Yeah, and now Lord has answered from the previous verse about the Pradhana, what the Pradhana is. But let's go through how the Canto 2 explain is where this pradhana come from. Okay, pradhana in Vedic scripture has been described by different names, such as avyakta, which is unmanifest, such as material nature. And Mahatattva is also described as material nature. The pradhana is unmanifested form, and the Mahatattva is manifested form here. Lord Krishna, from his right hand side, Balram comes. Lord Balram. Yeah. From Lord Balram, the first quadruple expansion comes. Who are they? Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. That is the first quadruple. And from that Sankarshana, he's also been called as Mula Sankarshana. From him comes Narayan. And from Narayan comes second quadruple expansion. Again, same. Vasudev, Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai. Vasudev, Pradyumna, Sankarshan, and Aniruddha. So these are the second quadruple. And in that second Sankarshana, he's been called as Mahasankarshana. From that Sankarshana comes Mahavishnu. He's been also addressed as Karnodakshayi Vishnu. When he glances over the material nature, which is called by pradhana. And how does he glance? Who carries his glance? Shambhu. Shambhu carries his glance. And in that glance, there are two main things. Kala Tattva and Jiva Tattva. And under that Jiva Tattva, there are two components. Karma and Swabhava. So that means Lord Mahavishnu, he glances over the material nature, which is pradhana, with three major things. Kala, main important, Swabhava, and karma of the jiva. When he glances that, then it agitates. It agitates the pradhana. That pradhana transforms into Mahatattva. Let me give you an example. Abba Sitaram Prabhu, we do have here godown. Yeah? Construction godown. We have got everything here. But it is locked from outside. But when you unlock the godown, and when everything starts coming out and start manifesting, that situation is called Mahatattva. But when it is inside and locked, that situation is called Pradhana. That means it is unmanifested state. So until unless it's a involvement of the Lord, which already inside that godown is three modes of material natures are there, and everything, all the ingredients, how to make the creation, everything is already there. It's not been in agitated. It's still in unagitated, untouched situation. That situation is called pradhana. As soon as the Lord glances, that means he's unlocking the door or unlocking the lock. So when everything opens and start coming out, that situation is called Mahatattva. And guess what? In chapter 14 of Canto 10, verse number 58, which is quite famous, Lord Brahma prayers, and he addresses to Lord Krishna as Mahat Padam. Mahat Padam Punne Yasho Murare. That famous verse, Padam Padam Yad Viptam Na Tesham. Let me read out for you. Samsaryata ye pad pallava palvam Mahat Padam. Mahat Padam means the cosmic manifestation which is resting upon the lotus feet of the Lord. So his another name is Mahat Padam. Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murare. Bhavam Buddhir Vatsa Padam Param Padam 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 Yad Vipadam Na Tesham. So Lord Brahma is addressing Lord Krishna as, oh my Lord, you had Mahat Padam. Everything is coming out of you. You are the primary creator here. And when these three modes of material nature are further divided into three categories, so these 24 elements, which here mentioned here by Lord Kapila, who are these? 5 gross elements, 5 subtle elements, means 10, and 4 internal sense organs, means 14, and then 10 and 5 gathering knowledge, and 5 outward organs of action. So that becomes 24. That's what Lord Kapila is explaining here. Oh my mother, let me explain you. This jiva which is very pure and part and parcel of the Lord, when it comes to the contact of material nature, there are 24 elements which gives the birth to the jiva. Means there are 24 elements. This body is made of 24 elements here. And it works under this 24. And these 24 elements are categorized into these three categories: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And let's see in text number 12, 13, and 14, who are these individual elements are. Text number 12, Prabhu, do you mind displaying on the screen? Mahadbhutani pancheva bhurapo agni marunabha tanmatrani chatavanti gandhani matani me. There are 5 gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. There are also 5 subtle elements: smell, taste, color, touch, and sound. As previously, Lord Krishna claims that I have so many different material energies. I work through them. Bhumirapo nalo vayu khanmano buddhir evacha ahankara idyam me bhinna prakriti ashtadha. So it's one of those are the 5 gross elements here. And text number 13, it says, Indriyani dasa shotram tvagdrag rasna nashikaha vakarau charnau medharam payur dasham uchyate. Now, the senses for acquiring knowledge, who are these? And the organs for action, number 10, namely the auditory senses. The number 1, the auditory senses, then the sense of taste, the tactile sense, the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the active organs for speaking, the active organs for working, and those for traveling, generating, and evacuating. So this becomes 20. And now, verse number 14, which is the last verse for today, is going to explain about the rest of the 4. Mano buddhir ahankaras idam iti antar atmakam chaturdha lakshyate bhedo virte lakshana rupeya. The internal subtle senses are experienced as having 4 aspects in the shape of mind, intelligence, ego, and contaminated consciousness. Distinction between them can be made only by different functions, since they are present different characteristics. So that becomes 24. And there is a small purport here. The 4 internal senses or subtle senses described herein are defined by different characteristics. When pure consciousness is polluted by material contamination and when identification with the body becomes prominent, one is said to be situated under false ego. Consciousness is the function of the soul, and therefore behind consciousness there is soul. Consciousness polluted by material contamination is called ahankara. You can see how detailed information has been provided by here Lord Kapila Dev to his mother Devhuti. And she's also not in hurry. She really wants to realize the really subject matter which she is asking about to Lord Kapila Dev. Going into the depth. Going into the depth. That's why Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text number 55, Bhakti amam abhijanati yavan yachasvi tatvataha. And the third line is so important to follow. Tato mam tatvato gyato vishte tad anantaram. That means ki no doubt, Arjuna, that you have to know me by doing devotional service, by practicing bhakti, which we all are doing it. But if we focus on third line, which is tato mam tatvato gyato, but Arjuna, you have to be careful. You have to know me through tattva. You have to know the tattva. Once you know the tattva, then you are allowed to come to my abode where I reside in Goloka Vrindavan. There's so many people very cheaply say, Krishna, I know him. Yeah, he's my best friend. I know him. I know everything about him. But if you go through with this Canto 2, Canto 3, Canto 4, and Canto 5 especially, the planets and the universes, Jambu Deep, all those details, when we read out, our head spins. Our head spins. There's so many ways Lord Krishna is taking care of this creation, and we are nowhere to know him. So many great personalities, Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, Lord Shiva, of this universe. What to speak about? There are billions of universes which has got so many heads of Brahma, so many heads of Indra, so many heads of Lord Shiva. They all are claiming we cannot understand Krishna. So we as a tiny living entity of this material world don't have information about themselves. They claim they know Krishna. How can we say this? Can we explain any of these tattva, these 24 elements? If somebody asks us, can you please explain any one of these? How this functions in our body? And when these 24 elements are divided into 3 modes of nature, Lord Krishna appoints the predominating deity to control them. They are deities for the eyebrows, they are deities for the eyes, they are deities for the nose, they are deities for the smell, they are deities for the every single organs of our body. We are completely not individual or independent by ourselves. When we desire, Krishna's sanction and this predominating deity, they allow us to function in such a way. Who can provide all this information, especially when we go to these mundane schools and colleges? Where have been taught this? Nowhere. And when we go deeper and deeper into the subject matter, we really find out, my God, there is so much thing to learn. The more you learn, especially when you do Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, and after doing that sincerely, you come out, you're really afraid. Really, I really know Krishna? Do I have any hope to get out of this material world? Do I have really any hope? Some people say yes, some people say no. But Krishna gives the assurance. Yes, you can. How? Devi he isha gunamai, mam maya duratya, mam eva ye prapadyante. Mayam etam tarantite. This material cosmic manifestation, okay, is working under me. She's my divine energy, which in text 11 here, it's been mentioned here as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. These 24 material elements are described as called Yonir Mahad Brahma, which Lord Krishna in chapter 14, verse number 3, he mentions to Arjuna. You know, Arjuna, who is the father? I'm the father. Let's see. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhame aham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Translation. The total material substance called Brahman, another name of Pradhana or material nature is Brahman, is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Sarva yoneshu kauntaya murtaya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pradapita. Ki whatever you are saying, and in the previous verse, in text number 9 of this chapter, which is we are reading text number 11, where Srila Prabhupada writes, ki this material nature is compared to mother. And the Krishna who is giving the seed in the womb of this material nature is the father. When the father and mother unites, then the living entity or the child takes birth. So how beautifully he's claiming, putting his hand on his chest, he's straightway claiming to the whole world, Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the source of everything. But some foolishly people, Srila Prabhupada writes in many of his teaching here, but some foolish people, it is not that Krishna is saying, it's me. You are also there. Can't you see, when we get married, we give birth to children? So we are also Pita. Yes, you are a Pita for a short period of time. But until unless Krishna sanctions, Krishna sends the living entity in the father, okay, and the father discharges the semen in the womb of a mother, that's only the living entity, only by the permission of the Lord. Even I know there are so many of my friends, Devotee friends, they were trying to get a baby for so many years, so many years. They were not successful. They've been to the doctor, parents both, man and woman, they checked out, everything was okay. And even the doctor don't understand why they cannot conceive the baby. That's where I got the realization, Baba, you need to get the sanction of the Lord. Even though you are perfectly okay with your material function or material organs or everything, until unless it's the sanction of the Lord, a jiva cannot do anything by themselves. Because everything is working maya adakshena prakriti suryate sacharacharam. In my, under the eyes of mine, this material work, this material energy is working. Chara, moving and non-moving. Everything is taken care by my prakriti, my energy. She's my servant. She's my servant. But some people, they may doubt, but how can you say Krishna is our father? Okay, because in some of the scriptures it has mentioned Lord Shiva is also our father, Lord Durga is our mother. So how can you say they both are correct? Lord Shiva and Durga Devi, they are the parents of this body, material body. And Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani are the parents of our soul. So the both are correct. Krishna is the father of the soul, even though he's the Sarvasya Prabho Mata Sarvam Parvate, I'm the source of both material and spiritual. But still the Vedas also said Lord Shiva is also the father. Yes, he's also the father because through Lord Shiva, Mahavishnu interaction with Durga Devi, material nature. He does not really directly contact with material nature because he is completely pure. Satchid Ananda. Krishna is completely pure. Mahatattva, Mahavishnu is completely pure. He's a Vishnu Tattva. They cannot directly, they have kept the people to work for them. They have the people to work for them and they are happily working. They are happily working. They feel honored. They feel privileged. When there is an order from Lord Krishna, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And they feel so obliged. But where we up to, when we get the chance to serve Lord Krishna, we had so many excuses to made out. Mayam etam tarantite. As soon as Lord Krishna is saying, as soon as we surrender unto Him or His pure representative, only I can, taranti means only I can deliver you from this material world. Because the instructions are there. We cannot manifest anything by ourselves. We need to follow the instruction of Lord Krishna as it is. Our whole process is as it is. Bhakti's another name is surrender. Surrender. Where the surrender will come? Surrender to the instructions which is given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And surrender to the words of the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, such as our spiritual masters. They adjust according to our situation. Okay, at the moment, this instruction is not for you. You are not yet qualified. You are not eligible. You first prepare yourself to perform this instruction. Now you do this. Once your base is strong, once your foundations are strong, your legs are strong, then you can perform a very Herculean task like Bhima. He has done Arjuna. We should not be afraid when any service comes to us, because with the service, there are mercy hidden. Mercy is always hidden. I have heard in one lecture of Srila Prabhupada, he was mentioning that with the service, you also attain jnana. Only not just by reading books all the time. We need to be in a practical way also. When there is a practicality, see, if we calculate ourselves in the beginning, when we came to the classes, to some lectures, some anything, we hear the knowledge. It changes our heart, okay? And we engage into the service of the Lord. But there are so many more knowledge to attain, but Krishna says, are you really sincere? You really want to do service to me? So once we engage ourselves in the service, so whatever the obstacles in our heart or in our consciousness, we are not able to understand the tattva, Krishna removes that blockage. But He wants to see. In Canto 10, we see Yashoda Maiya, Nanda Maharaj, all the gopis. Are they reading books? Are they doing something? Everybody is engaged in the service of the Lord. They have done everything already, they don't need to do. The whole conclusion of reading, chanting and everything, what we are doing as a part of sadhana, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Samanam Padasinam Archanam Vandam Sakham Atmaniveda, it's a whole process. How, my Lord, how can I serve you? What Srila Prabhupada gives a small definition when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is the definition of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Engage me in your service. That's a simple definition given by Srila Prabhupada. Oh energy of the Lord, oh Lord Krishna, kindly engage this fallen soul in your service. If you see, there are 12 Mahajans, okay, in our Srimad Bhagavatam. Any of the 12 Mahajan, practically, they have not gone back to Godhead. In one sense, they are there. They are always back to their services. Brahmaji, he's doing creation. Narad Muni, he's preaching. Prahlad Maharaj, he's preaching in Sutala planets. Chaturku Maharaj, they are also traveling and preaching. If you name anything, Yamarajji, everybody, they are always understanding the tattva of Krishna consciousness. They are engaged in the service of the Lord. And engagement means we have to be firm at one place and perform our devotional duty rather than moving here and there every 1 month, 2 months or 3 months. It's the agitation of the mind. Mind agitates you. So you have done so much service in this temple. Let's pick up your bag and luggage. Let's go and see your family people or move around here and there. No. In this way, it will disturb your mind and it will disturb your practice. How I explain this point here, such as if somebody of you has opened a business, a new fresh business, okay, you want your business to be established. So what you do, you give your time. You open up your shutter, your shop shutter on time, you close on time, you talk to your customers very nicely, you spend years and years, months and months, days and days to establish your business. When after 2, 3, 4 years, when everything is established, okay, customers are coming, people knowing you, they're liking your quality, the quality of your food and products, whatever it is, then you can go for 1 month, 2 months or some holidays. So no problem, your business will be going on from the back. In a similar way, when we have started our bhakti in initial stage, we have to form our situation at one place and perform day and night our practice. Such a simple formula Prabhupada has given. Wake up early in the morning, come to Mangalarti, do Tulsi Puja, chant Hare Krishna, do worship Srila Prabhupada, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, eat prasadam and perform your service. Such a wonderful and an easy way to please Lord Krishna and devotee. And guess what? We are so conditioned and cheated by the illusory energy of the Lord, which is our mind, that it teaches us, Prabhu, last week you attended the whole 7 days. Let's get sleep. Take a break. What's wrong with you? Are you okay or what? You are going every day Mangalarti. Go to doctor, check it up, mate. What are you doing? That's how we are being cheated by the illusion. No, if the person has no taste to sit in the class or to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then his spiritual life is in a very shaking position. In a very, very shaking position. If you start getting the taste to hear, no matter where you are, if you have a taste to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, then you are progressing in your spiritual life. Completely progressing in your spiritual life. Otherwise, the situation is very, very shaky here. And all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, you can see here, we have Amay Swami Maharaj, Chandrasekhar Swami Maharaj, and many other senior Vaishnavas. It is not easy to do devotional service from last 5 decades, 50 years, 40 years. So many ups and downs comes in the life. They have been formed in their bhakti. That's why they are so peaceful in their daily relationship or daily routine. Stitadhira, word has been used, not agitated by any material discomfort. They will come and go. This is the nature of the material energy. The discomfort will come and go. Discomfort of the body, discomfort of the mind, discomfort of the living situation. But in any situation, we should not let our spiritual practice shaken at any cost. Because they will come and go. That's where the Krishna says, oh, today is your situation is better. You are chanting and doing subservice. Tomorrow your situation is not better. The first thing a practitioner does, he leaves the service of the Lord. He leaves the chanting. He leaves the association of the devotee. He leaves everything. He says, let me figure it out. Let me fix my situation first. And then I can perform. No, it will never be fixed. Why? Because that's what you have gained your karma. Through your karma, you are gaining what you are gaining in present life. Only Lord Krishna can fix it. You cannot fix it. Because He is the in charge of the karma. He can only fix your karma. When He sees the sincerity, He removes whatever it is going to come to you. He removes all those obstacles. And He is removing every single minute. We are not noticing it. It seems that we are doing it. No, He's the one who is giving us the protection. We cannot give anybody protection. It's an illusion to say, my husband will protect me, my wife will protect me. No. And Devhuti said the same thing in previous chapter. I thought my husband, he's a Mahayogi, he's going to give me protection. You know, she asked Kardama Muni, my dear husband, you promised me you will make me abhyam. Means fearless. What happened? You are leaving me. What's wrong with you? She says, my dear wife, I cannot make you a fear. Yes, Lord Vishnu, when He was pleased with my austerity, He came and He said He will come to our home as His portion. Kapila Dev, only He can make you fearless. Only He will make you abhyam. I cannot make you abhyam. Please forgive me. And he immediately left. Because he was so strong in his sadhana as a brahmachari prior to grahastha. That's why it is very, very important if you are a brahmachari or brahmacharini or whatever plan if you have for the future, this is the best time of your life. Do as hard as practice you can do in this situation, because that will protect you at the end of day of your life. Otherwise, there is no hope for it. Okay, we have got 10 minutes. I would like to stop here and see if anyone has any questions or any comments or add into it. Maharaj, you have something to say? Yeah. Just use the mic, Maharaj, for the online viewers.
When you say that Mahayogi,
yeah,
what does it mean actually? Because there are different types of yogi.
Yes, Maharaj.
What is the meaning of Mahayogi?
As you already said, Maharaj, there are different types of yogis, because Mahayogi means he was above all the yogis. He doesn't have only the mystic powers, he has extra mystic powers. We can see he divided himself into 9, if I'm not wrong. Usually the mystic yogi, they have got Ashtasiddhis, 8. He was one extra. He was one extra. Plus, while performing his yoga practice, his goal was to please Lord Vishnu. So that's why he was greater than any other yogi. Usually the mystic yogi, they perform the yoga to gain some power, to become shorter than the shortest, tallest than the tallest, heaviest than the heaviest. And once they achieve that thing, they stop practicing. But here, Kartama Muni, he was a devotee also, along with as a yogi. He was a devotee also. He did not stop his practice after seeing the darshan of the Lord. He was continuing to it. And guess what? By seeing the practice of Kardama Muni, Lord shed his tears. And that tears became Bindu Sarovar. We can see how much he was devoted to Lord Krishna. That's what I want to add into that. But if you have anything or any other would like to add into that, so I would be very happy to.
Also, like a Dhyana Yoga, it mentioned that unless you are free from sex, you cannot be a yogi.
Yeah.
how come that Kardamuni has a sexual desire?
No, he was contemplating that he had a sex desire, but he was working under the direction of his supreme spiritual master, which is Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma ordered him, my son, the creation has just been done. Now we need to do the progeny. So I choose you to do that. But before that, you need to engage yourself in the austerity. Even though he committed himself in the front of Lord Vishnu, he says, oh my Lord, I'm really, really sorry. I am so afflicted by the sex desire, but this is the order given by my father Brahmaji. Lord Krishna says, Vishnu says, don't worry. If your father's order is my order, I asked him to do it, and he passed the order to you. So don't worry, you won't be affected by that. So he assured that. So he took as a seva, as a service. He was not indulged into that. I really want to have enjoyment, so let me get married. Even though he admitted that, yes, for this reason, I'm asking you for the wife. And Lord says, don't worry, I have already chosen a wife for you. So that was the divine arrangement of the Lord. If this sin would not be happen, then how can we hear the teachings of Lord Kapiladev in pages of Srimad Bhagavatam for us? So it's a
So
sanction
that
of
means, what I wanted to say that Mahayogi is little lower than the Maha devotee, great devotee of the Lord. So why we are always comparing the yogi?
Maharaj, as far as I know that is the whole scene is going on and it is working under the direction of the Lord. But in that, if you see Lord Brahma, he is also householder. Prahlad Maharaj, he is also householder. But if you are working under the direction of the Lord, because that sex desire is only allowed in householder life and which is sanctioned by Lord himself. Dharma aviruddhya kamo asmi. That sex life which is not against the religious spiritual, that sex life is me. So he is saying that thing. Yeah, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so for your kindness.
Hare Krishna. I also wanted to add famous verse from Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarvesham margatenam
Madhurandhara.
Shadavan bhajate yomam sama yuktatamamata.
Yeah.
So it's not that a devotee can't be a yogi. Krishna is actually saying the best yogi is his devotee.
Who meditates upon me.
Who meditates on me.
Yeah,
and
Bhagavad
who
Gita
always abides with me.
6.47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too.
Thank you so much for especially nice input. Yeah, Mataji has one question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for such a nice class.
I think you need to turn on the microphone.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry.
I just have two simple questions, just clarification. It said the four internal senses, the mind, intelligence, ego, and then contaminated consciousness. Ego is the same as the soul, and then contaminated consciousness is false ego. Is that right? Or what? How do we understand ego and contaminated consciousness?
In the Vedic scriptures, as Mataji's questions are, the Lord has explained as four internal senses here, which is mind, intelligence, false ego, and contaminated consciousness. In many Vedic scriptures, Mataji, sometimes they say false ego and consciousness are one. Sometimes they have split it into two. But here, as a Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya means to analyze every single element. We need to open and make it separate and study according to that. That's why Srila Prabhupada says that by coming into the relationship or with the material nature, our consciousness is contaminated. And he says like water. Water is so pure, but as soon as it touches the mud, it gets contaminated. So our consciousness is contaminated, and how it is contaminated, thinking ourselves we are the enjoyer, we are the body, and we are performing everything to please our senses and mind. To remove this consciousness and coming back to where we used to be as a pure consciousness, that's why this whole process of Bhakti Yoga is there. That's what I just want to say. So it may be or may not be.
And then ego?
Ego is also there. What we see here, it's false ego, but there is also true ego.
Okay.
There is also true ego.
And then I just have one more.
Yeah, please go for it.
For Pradhan, how do we understand what in the span of like when the universe is created, before it's manifested and unmanifested, where does Pradhan actually take place? Because the annihilation, nothing exists.
Yeah, Pradhana means before the Mahatattva. The Pradhana, material nature in unmanifested form is called Pradhana, and in manifested form is called Mahatattva. That's where you need to understand this much. That's why this material nature is called Pradhana in unmanifested state. But when it starts manifesting, that state is called Mahatattva.
Is it the space between Vishnu's breaths when the universes are created and destroyed?
We can say that because this Pradhana material nature is always existing. It's eternal. It is always existing. As soon as we hear from the pores of the hair of Mahavishnu, all the universes are coming out. So when these universes are out, they don't function itself. Then Mahavishnu, he manifests himself as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and he enters into the planet. And then the planet starts functioning. And from that thing, when Lord Brahma, when from Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, from his navel, Brahmaji comes. And the Brahmaji does the secondary creation. And when he does it, and when he produces the living entity or different forms, as I said, according to their svabhava and karma, so they don't function themselves either independently. Then Garbhodakshayi Vishnu manifests himself as a Shirodikshai, which is a Paramatma form. And when he enters to every living entity, then living entities start functioning. It is a whole science for it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sitaram Prabhu asked one question. Yeah, Prabhu, please. Prabhu, make it short and clear. Please, make it short questions.
Yes, it should be short, but I hope it's not a... Okay, yeah. You were saying that the demigods, they are in charge of the living entities and they take the functions. They carry the functions,
yeah, different organs.
Yeah. But how does it work in the sense that there are so many living entities? How many demigods are taking the function of all the eyes and every respective living entity? We saw the nice picture in the catalog Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita,
yes.
where the demigods are actually pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can pull the string of this one, but they may not pull the string of the other one. Then also, I understand that demigods, they are also taking birth sometime on the planet. So who's carrying on their functions?
No, all the time they are taking
when
birth.
Krishna, they're in Krishna Lila, they
Yes.
said the demigods were sent to take birth on the earth.
See, there have been different demigods, not only just one demigods. Demigods also have categorized into many things according to the planets they are living in. Okay, if somebody is in charge of this eyebrow, does not mean one demigod is behind only you. He's behind of everything, and he's got so much power. Only just by his desire he can do it. This is called subtle science. This is subtle nature. That we cannot understand with our material consciousness, because what we are doing, the experience we have in this material world, we have made one frame, okay, and we are trying to put the whole spiritual knowledge into that frame and try to understand how this will work, and this will not understand by like that. We need to just accept certain things theoretically. If Srimad Bhagavatam says, this is like that, but how can I show you this demigod looks like this, he does like that? Only just by theoretical knowledge. We can understand certain things, or as we go advance into the Vedic scripture, we can understand those things. Because they are very doing subtle things. See, the material element is one of the material. I'm not talking about the subtle, okay, air. Air is material. But how can you explain me? How does the air look like? How does it function? Can you explain me? But it's subtle in nature. When the fan goes, we can feel the air in our senses. So there are many subtle things are there, subtle elements. That's why there are 24 in there. It's very difficult to understand.
But we were meant to understand it.
That's what I'm saying. It's very difficult to understand. If you are saying meant to understanding, you try. We are also trying. We are also trying.
Oh, thank you
But how can I explain you know, how the demigods looks like, how they function, where their office is, how many staff they have? I mean, every in charge has their teamwork. Team is there. So for that one, I would say we need to read many other Puranas, Itihasas, scriptures, because the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of everything. So what we are taking, it is the essence. Anyway, but even though if you know how much it will help you in your spiritual life. You know, one time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you say you cannot understand Krishna, then why do you write so many books? So Prabhupada says, so it will be sure that definitely you cannot understand Krishna. So it will be make sure, it will be guaranteed that you cannot understand Krishna. Even Lord himself says, I don't even know how much powerful I am, how much energies do I have. Even he himself is saying, I don't know my limit. So we are as a tiny part of this material world, we are trying to understand. So maybe I'm not capable to answer you, but is there anyone who's got the answer, they can do it. Yeah, please, Prabhu. That one Prabhu has got one. Oh, no. Somebody else go.
They say that, I just can talk through here. They say, oh, Maharaj. Well, now we're over time.
The two questions there, it's just like, as far as I can see, is like New York City. We
Yeah.
have a Department of Water, we have a Department of Electricity, a Department of Garbage, we have, so there's a handful of people and they're managing the water, the electricity for everybody.
Yeah.
They're in charge of the overall big switches,
Yeah.
which is kind of what the demigods are. Of course, as you say, your answers are very nice. I very much like them. The demigods, they have subtle power. Through their desire and through mantras, they can cause things to happen in a particular way, And then your question about what happens when the demigod comes to the earth. Usually it's described in Vedic literatures, they get a furlough and someone else has to take over while they're away from the office, But remember that an entire year in the earth plane is just one day in the heavenly planet. So that, if they're here for like 50 years, it's just like being gone for a month and a couple of weeks, for them up there. And it mentions sometimes who is the person that's furloughing for the person who's a demigod here.
So his things are very accurate. We cannot understand it. So whatever time we have got, just chant Hare Krishna, do service and go back. And we can figure it out who the person is.
Yeah, my only point was that if you want your eye to work good, you try to find the demigod for the eye and you do a puja to him or something like that, try to placate him but we just water the root.
Yeah. Water the root. Go to the root, everything is taken care of. Okay, thank you so much everybody.